It is your boy Mario.TV 16 coming back at you live with another episode of I don't even know what to call this show, hip hop drama or hip hop news, hip hop rap radio, whatever it is. I'm coming at you live with another episode, and this episode is going to be about Drake and his interviews. He recently came out with a new interview with Zane Lowe on Beats One Radio, which was his first actual interview in a long time, or one of the first interviews that he's actually had, long enough and like an hour long. So I watched it, and it was a really good interview. I mean, he answered some questions. I mean, most of the time he was really being politically correct on all of his answers. But yeah, so watching the video, I'm like, you know what? Like Drake doesn't really have a lot of interviews. Like he doesn't really like to do interviews, and I don't know why. Like it must be just he doesn't like answering any questions, or he trying to be that low key type of artist, like or maybe he's too big of an artist to be doing interviews. Like Beyonce, she doesn't do too many interviews. The Weeknd doesn't do interviews at all. Like big stars don't really do interviews like that. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes that kind of adds to their kind of mystique. But then for artists that aren't as big, they have to do these promos and interviews because that's how they get out. But Drake's big enough that he doesn't have to do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I try to keep in touch, or not keep in touch, but I try to stay watching, Sway interviews, Breakfast Club on Hot 97, Angie Martinez, Flex, and even I like to watch a podcast, like Nori or Juan Epstein, those type of podcasts. I'm really interested in hearing people's interviews and whatnot, and I find it really interesting. But yeah, Drake doesn't really do too many interviews, so I sat down and watched the interview, and like I said, he was being really politically correct with all of his answers. He was just saying like he was kind of feeding around the bush. He was just being really broad with his answers. They asked him about the Lil Wayne and Birdman drama. He's like, you know what, like I don't. You know what? Just what I'm gonna do is link their interview. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna link it in the description box. You click on that, and you can watch it for yourself. But yeah, and then he's also asking about Nicki Minaj, and he kind of just tries to, play it off like, you know what, like I got love for her, I got love for Lil Wayne, Birdman, and like that type of stuff. So he was being really politically correct. Oh, and he was also even asked about kind of little beef he had with the new Toronto, which is Tory Lane's crew, and he was just trying to be like, uh, you know, once you're at the top, man, once you're at the top, these people trying to bring you down, and you should kind of be pushing the movement instead of going at the top dog and stuff like that. And I mean, it's kind of true, but it is what it is. But the only thing that I did not like is, obviously they didn't ask him any good questions. Zayn didn't ask him like, what's up with all this drama with ghostwriters and Moji with the dance moves and Quentin Miller, running through the six with my woes. That type of questions, they didn't ask him about that stuff, and that kind of really was kind of a bummer. It was just kind of shitty because it was like really. I mean, if you're gonna do an interview, ask them about all the good stuff. Like, don't be asking them about this little stuff that kind of pissed me off. And I mean, in a sense, I feel like maybe Drake's camp, had to talk with Zayn before. It's like, you know what, these type of topics are off limits. You know what I mean? And I feel like, either you don't talk about these things, or bring them up in an interview, or else I won't do the interview. And that's the same reason why he doesn't go on to the Breakfast Club. One of the reasons why he doesn't go on the Breakfast Club is because his camp will ask Breakfast Club, uh, please don't or they'll be like, don't ask these type of questions. And the Breakfast Club don't need that. I heard the Charlamagne the God saying, you know what, if people tell us, oh, you can't ask these questions, and then he'd be like, we good, we don't need your interview. So, and then besides that, Drake doesn't really fuck with the drama, and then he doesn't really care for See the God, even though he's sending them bottles. I feel like he don't really fuck with him that much, anyways. But yeah, so I'm like, you know what, it was a cool interview, you know what I mean? But there was no fucking hard questions, you know what I mean? Like all that ghostwriting shit, like he has to come out and talk about it. And like I think his true fans or like true fans of hip hop, expect answers. And I think all these Drake stands be like, you know what, it is what it is, and they don't need the answers. But me being like a hip hop fan, and you know what I mean, like a true fan, and I try to be, kind of, I try to be like a little critic when it comes down to music, because I'm like that big of a fan. Like I don't just accept stuff for what it is. Like he should come out and talk about it. You know what I mean? But obviously he's not going to talk about it. If people don't demand like those type of topics to be talked about, then he's not going to come out and do it. If all of his social media was fucking just everyone was asking like, come on, come out with it, have an interview talking about this, then maybe he'll come out with it. But people aren't really pressuring him to do that, so why is he going to talk about it? I mean, but then again, like I said, he was being politically correct with his answers, and I don't fault him for that, because at the end of the day, like if I was him, I would do that too. Like I'm not gonna be answering those stupid questions if I don't want to ask. I mean, if I don't want to answer them, and at the same time, it's like he's at that place, like he's the number one dude right now, and people are just trying to aim for him. And I feel like why even answer these questions if people don't pressure me to answer them? Then why am I gonna talk about it? You know what I mean? That's just gonna bring more questions. But I think true hip hop fans want to know, and they want him to talk about it. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But we'll see if he does any interviews later on, but which I highly doubt. But then again, me being a true hip hop fan, I would like answers, and then I critique him like greatly. Like I critique artists, and I not just their body of works, not just their music, but them as a person, and But that's just me. There's a lot of Drake stands who don't give a fuck, and they'll be like, you know what? It is what it is. They drop their music. They're like the first time they listen to their music, they're already on it. Like for me, Views from the Six or Views, it took me a couple times going through it to start liking it, because I'm not one of these fanboys who'd be like, all right, he dropped some shit and then it's fire right away. Nah, like you have to let that music soak in, but. But that's just me. So I want you guys to just comment below. Tell me what you think. Subscribe. Let me know how you feel about this situation, about Drake not doing interviews and this type of stuff. But yeah, it's your boy Mario.tv. Catch y'all next time.